That's a general brief description of what's going on. There'll be a few episodes where it'll be specifically all about the city, where I'll go into more dynamics of that, where I'll be building up the local gang factions, the local law factions, down to, you know, corporate and that sort of thing. Other than that, story hooks. There'll always be creations of story hooks, because I like to offer my players a big open sandbox when it comes to playing the game. So as I said, I take full advantage of the Requiem, or in this case Requiem version 2 system, by allowing the players to really make their own metagame. Not that I don't like a supplied metagame, but it's like, it's so cool having the players actually build something up, and it's like having something that they've caused, or, you know, without even having to go into examples. It's just, yeah, I've seen and ran very successful chronicles where that's happened, and it's so cool, just as the storyteller, sitting back and watching this world that you've supplied them come to life, sort of thing. So yeah, I'm really hoping for that when we start playing and stuff. And already, you know, I've sat down with the lads and I've had a rough talk on character concepts and creations and stuff, and everyone's pretty much set on their idea of who their vampire is, which is great. And you can only do that to a certain extent, and then you've got to have a few games. Like, after you've set it all down, you need to have a few games, because that's when you get experience, like not just the XP that you can spend, but after the few game experiences, you get that aspect of knowing, I don't know, the character that you've created, and you start to develop a better personality of said character. It's weird, like a lot of people pull it off because they're like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to role play, and that means like putting on a voice and dressing up in a costume. And it's like, no, that doesn't at all. And it's not even about your voice, it's just about channeling about what that character would do. Like, put your head for a minute in someone else's shoes, which we, you know, often did as children, a lot of us, and stuff like that. So it's not hard to tap into, and it's awesome. It's very rewarding. Yeah, Scott's characters are gender fluid, into Korean pop music. Man, talking about that, right? The developers for this game, the old publishers, brought out like, it was a joke perk book, and it was for like a one-off type of game that you'd run, and it was like real weird goofy powers and real weird goofy types of vampires. And no joke, one of the abilities was that you could sparkle in the sun, right, and you could walk in the sun without dying, because every other vampire in this game dies in the sun. But the downside to that ability is every other vampire that sees you thinks you're a bit puffy, and you're physically negged by everything you do. Every dice pool you've got is like neg 10, so you lose like 10 dice. And it's like, so in other words, you're weak as piss, and you just look shiny, and you're like, oh, you're just like a pure fuckboy vampire. And as I said, all other vampires look down on you and think you're like, it's not even gay, they just look at you and just go, what the fuck, man? So yeah, it's funny that you should say that. The book I'm referring to is called Dudes of Legend. It was a real tiny well, Dava and Mekit are both really good. choices. And not only that, you might want to look, because I gave you the version 1 rulebook before I realised that I was getting the version 2 book. So I've got the version 2 book, so you might want to look through this version 2 book before committing to a Mechat or Deva, because some of the disciplines, which are vampire abilities or magic or whatever you want to call it, have changed. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out book 2. I can give it to you to squeeze over. Alright, I'm gonna go from my madman's notes. Kappa Pride Vampire. It's funny that you should say that, because one of the vampires that I've made is a transvestite, like one of the local vampires, and it runs the club that you guys go to in the city, right? What's known as an asylum. And in an asylum, vampires can all go there, you know, talk shit sort of thing, but there's like a truce that goes down there, like no one can hurt anyone, and if you try and hurt another vampire in an asylum, you'll get fucked up, like you'll be punished for it. But essentially the one that runs the asylum is called Ray Shell, and it's this African American black transvestite, right? And it's spelled R-A-Y and then Shell, so like Ray Shell. And yeah, she's yeah, and the master of the title master of the asylum is someone who runs the establishment, where, as I said, all vampires are free to meet. It's neutral ground, and no shit goes down. But yeah, her name's Ray. They call it Ray's Place, but Ray Shell. I'll actually be bringing it up on stream when I'm looking at some different stuff, which, yeah, I'm allowed to, because I've got it here. And that's what I was going to say, what's cool about this version of the reader that I've got, so I can keep my character tabs open and yeah, not lose them, as well as opening a book and stuff like that. Shove it, pop it out on stream, on Strum. Pop it out on Strum. Actually, because you know, we could, yeah, Ray Shell. But see, the thing about Ray Shell, and this is the thing, like, as I said, I can tell you this, right, but it's not I know! E-Dog, what is up, man? That is where I drew inspiration for Ray Shell. I'm not even joking. I watched that the other night, and there's a few other places, but I watched that, and I watched Mr. Robot, and there was a character in there too, and I was like, you know, yeah, Ray Shell. But the thing about Ray Shell is, right, you either meet Ray Shell as Ray Shell or Ray, right? So if you fucked up, the weave comes off, all of that, and you meet Big Ray, who, let me tell you now, you've seen Terry Crews. Terry Crews is a big, muscly dude, and he's awesome. He does that muscle music thing, Scotty. Yeah, so it's like that, but a heat sheet, you know. So it's like Ray Shell. You don't want to meet Big Ray, you know. Hell no, hell no. I wish I had Photoshop up. I'd Photoshop Terry Crews as a. If anyone's good with Photoshop, quickly Photoshop Terry Crews with drag makeup on, quick. There'll probably already be one on Google Images. Let me have a look. You know there will be. I can feel it. Before Tamez posts it. Yep. Before Tamez posts it. Alright. That's the point of why it's terrifying though, you know. So you don't want to fuck with Raisha. See? There we go. Look. Look. Here we go. Here we go. That is exactly... Oh my god! Oh my god! Thomas. Thomas. Oh my god. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get Rachel. We're gonna keep her down there as we work on. We're gonna work on Rachel's statue right now. Alright. Rachel. Should we spell it like Ray and then like a beautiful seashell? Or should it be like Ray and then Shelly? Like Ray Shelly? Like, and she gets upset when you don't pronounce it? This is what I mean. I need pictures up for reference of our characters as we're working on them. Ray Shelly? So, yeah, I need votes. Is it Rachel or Rachel? I need help. And you know, that's when she's at home, in her haven. That's what a vampire calls their layout, whether their lair. Oh, see? Mez. Rachel? Cheryl? Like girl? Yep. Got it. I'm down for it. Yep. Rachel. Perfect, dude. AKA Big Ray. Because, yeah. Alright, player. NPC. Is that stat sheet super blurry to you guys? You probably can't see what I'm filling in there. We can zoom in on it if you want me to. Actually, why not? I can zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Chronicle. Normally, you'd fill that out in pencil after you've printed it out, so it's not. Yeah, it depends too. And for an NPC, because this is a city-based character, we just we can leave that blank. Mask and dirge. We'll get to those in a minute. Clan. What if we got her down here? So hold on, I got my notes here, alright. Rachel. She's a Deva, of course. See, that's the thing, Scotty. A lot of Deva are, how do I put it? Are like that. They're not all like that, but some are like that, alright? Now, Bloodline. She ain't got one. A bloodline is like an expansion. Is that zoom better now though? Is it zoomed in like that? Mask and Dirge are different when you play as a human. They're different when you play as a vampire. They're called different things. As a human, they're virtues and vices. As a vampire, it sort of depicts the two sides of a vampire. It's like their beast inside has a specific way it lashes out. So when they go all vampire style, yeah, they've got a summary for picking that. And then they've got a mask, which is their